There are a lot of things that we parents we do unintentionally, and we're talking about one of this today. So grab your popcorn and let's dive into today. Everyone, my name is Tunrayo. If you're new here and if you're not new, thank you so much for subscribing to this channel. I film about motherhood, lifestyle, family, DIY, and everything beautiful, right? So let's get Instagram the other day, and there's this lady that I follow. She posted something about child favoritism, and then what do we think about it? And I left a comment. I will be leaving my comments right here, and a lot of people like that comment, and a lot of people could really go online, did a little research, read about it. Of course, I know what child favoritism is, but just have an idea of what we are doing that is, that could make a child feel like my parent don't like me enough, or something that we're doing that is so favoritism is an act of a parent intentionally like preferring one child to the other. Like a mom likes this child, a dad likes this child, and you guys make it so the causes of child favoritism. And while I was, doing my research and all of that, I realized that unconsciously a parent will tend to love a child more than the other. Not like you're doing it because there is a particular reason. There's no reason. Unconsciously, you just lean more towards this child, lean more towards that child. And you're causing a lot of hurt in your family. Another point is that you have a particular bond with that child, and sometimes it's usually a mom and their first child. Like you have a special bond with that child because that is your first child. That is the first child that calls you mom. So you kind of, even from pregnancy, and I can relate to that because I remember before I had my other kids, I was worried like, will I be able to love my other children as I love this one? Because I love him so much, especially that's my first child. That's a baby growing inside of me. So if you're not careful, you will show more favoritism towards that child over the sibling. And another point is another child that you can show more favoritism for is maybe the last child because they're still young. So you tend to like, pay more attention to them, love them, for, being young. And then you just there's a way that there's something about young children that you just, especially your last born, like they are your last baby, affection for them that you're neglecting your other siblings and you do not even know this about that. I was talking to one of my big sis, my sister friend the other time, and she mentioned something about, her being very intentional about their middle child because she realized that they pay more attention to the first and the last child, like unintentionally, the first child, you're like, okay, you have to get this or you have to, and you're paying more attention to that child and your last baby, whether you like it or not, last baby, they are always like demanding. We have a daughter as our last daughter, as our last baby, and she has two older siblings. Like you could tell, like she just have her way. They all just always have their way. So that was what she was saying. So she now made it very intentional. Like this middle one is just like in between them. Like the middle one is just in between them. Look, maybe the middle one we tend towards the brother's friend. Like he's not having his own identity, and when she said that, it clicked. I'm like, oh, that is really true. We need to pay attention to middleborn child because, the first child, you're paying so much attention on them because this is the first child. This is the one representing the family. So you're giving them everything. Like, you're paying so much attention academically, everything, like, because they are the first child. And the last child, you don't even have to pay attention towards them. They will demand for that attention, whether you like it or yes. And the middleborn is just there, like, okay, like trying to find their way in between. And when she said that, really, I was like, oh my God, this is actually true. So sometimes it could happen that way that, you're paying attention to some kids more than the other, and this causes child favoritism. And another one is that, a parent might be, maybe some people have been wanting a girl child, and then they eventually have that girl child, and then all of a sudden the boy child are just like an option, right? Maybe you've always wanted a boy, you've been having girls, and then you eventually have that girl. All of a sudden you're paying more attention to that boy, and before you know it, it's so much attention to that one child, and the other kids are looking at you like, okay, are we really your child, right? It's another thing. If you guys are playing, I know that in a family, you guys are playing, and you are like, oh, this is my baby, this is my baby. But when it's now becoming too much, that is when the other kids like get jealous about that. And another point that I researched was may also gravitate towards a child who is easier to manage. Like some kids, they're just very independent. They don't cry, they don't stress you, and because of that, you just love them for that. You don't want the one that is crying, you don't want the one that is disturbing you. So you also gravitate towards a child like that, knowingly or unknowingly. And some people, they just intentionally like a child, like for some weird reason, like, and they make it so obvious, like, and For the life of me, this really bothers me, especially, and I'm one of those moms that I don't like it when people tell me that this is the most beautiful child in your family. Like, I don't like it. Don't say that. I don't even want to hear it. Like, all my kids are beautifully and wonderfully made. So it is not you that you now come. Don't come and put what is not in their head. Don't come and put it in their head. Why would you come and say this child is the most beautiful? No, all of them are the most beautiful. All of them are so cute. All of them are adorable. So I don't like that. That is where siblings rivalry, that is where it starts. So we have to be very intentional about all these things so that the things that you're doing today will generate, and that child will carry that hurt, and they will grow up and then they will now be apart. No, but we don't want to have kids that they don't have a good relationship with their siblings because of what their parents did. And the thing is that parents, you're going to leave. Like, one day you're going to be so old and then you're going to die, and it's just going to be these children. So you don't even want them to have that kind of effect on the child that you pay more attention to. So now let's talk about the effects on of child favoritism on the child that you favored, on the child that you love. What happens when you love a child? What are the effects? The effect is that the siblings will see it and they will not like him. And that is what I was saying earlier, that child siblings rivalry, that is where it starts. Like, mom like you, dad like you, they don't like me, and you just see some rift around between them, and nobody wants that. That is the effect that it will have on that child, and nobody wants that. So if you're a parent and you're watching me today and you feel like you're showing more attention to one child than the other, I feel like this is a time that we need to stop. Like, it doesn't favor you to do that. These are your kids. These are the children that you have. How do one love one child more than the other? I'm still trying to figure that out. I don't know. Like, there are some kids that they love, when you show them so much attention. Like, they love to be hugged, they love to be kissed. They'll just come to you, they'll just hug you. My second child is like that. It will just come to you, will just hug you, and all those things. And when I do it, sometimes I like to balance it up, and I'm calling the first one. So, okay, come and give me a hug, come and give me a kiss. All of out of the blues, I can just call my first son, like, come and give me a hug. I can just call my last baby. And my last baby, like I said, last bonds, they will demand for it. When she sees that her brother is coming to me for hug, she's also coming to get her own. So you see what I was saying earlier about, the middle child. But it is my whole middle child that really likes the attention. He likes to be kissed, he likes to be hugged. My first child likes it too, but it doesn't really demand for it like that. Like, my second baby would demand for it. So imagine a situation whereby you're just doing it for that child. You're not the one asking him to come for hugs and all of that. He is the one coming to you. They now imagine that the other child is just looking at you like, mommy likes him more than me, which is not the case. You're not the one asking for the hugs. He is coming, he is demanding for it. And the last baby is also seeing and demanding out of it. But the first child, so what I do is that I balance it out. I'm not perfect. I'm not saying this that, I get it, I know everything. No, I'm just saying it from my own experience, that because I've known about siblings rivalry for a long time, and it happy to not rival each other. They would love each other in Jesus' name. Amen. So now let's talk about the effect of child favoritism on those kids that you're not paying so much attention to. That is where low self-esteem comes from. Like, they know that this mom does not like me. My dad, they feel you don't like them. They feel that the dad does not like them, and they don't believe in that. If my parent does not even like me, how come others are gonna like me? So we need to do better concerning that. Like, we don't want to have a child that is so low, that their self-esteem is so low, and the reason their self-esteem is low is because we caused it. So we need to do better. Another effect on the child that you don't favor is that they start showing some character or some behaviors, maybe in school or outside, and just be like, this child is not like this at home. It's not like this at home because you've been favoring one child and they can't even talk to you. They can't even come to you and tell you that, mommy, this is what you're doing that I don't like. So that child will go outside and then start misbehaving, and you'll be like, that is not my child. That is your child because you've caused it. You favor other kids more than, and some people even favor outsiders than their own children. Start misbehaving outside, start, having friends that they are not meant to have, listening to people that they are not meant to listen to because somebody outside is telling them that they love them more than you, that you're their parents. Like, I feel like a parent, you should tell your child 1 million on one times a day that you love them. It is not too much. They need to hear it. They need to feel loved. They need to feel accepted, especially from their own parents. So this will take me to my last point, I guess. We just be anger towards their siblings and also anger towards you. And that is where they say that there's no love at home. This child does not even love their parent. This child, you'll see some kids growing up, they say, I don't have a relationship with my parents. Like that is so heartbreaking. Imagine a child saying that I don't have a relationship with my mom, I don't have a relationship with my dad. See, thinking of itself is very sad. We need to do better. We parents, we need to do better. Conclusion, we parents, we have to be aware and put effort in making sure that our kids are loved equally. Like there is no point to you showing that I love this child more than this child. Kids are different, their needs are different, they have different personality. One will show you love more than the other, but that does not take away the fact that you have to love them in the same way. You brought them to this world. There is no point you showing that you love one child more than the other. And I hope that I've been able to, make some points, and then you guys reason those points with me. And if there are some things that you still want to add, or if you've had anyone with child favoritism experience and they're, battling or going through it, please, I'd love to hear I'd love to hear from you in the comment section. My name is Tunrayo. If you're new here, please kindly click on that subscribe button. If you are not, I film about motherhood, lifestyle, DIY, family, food. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.